want to talk to you guys about your books. I want to remind you that whatever it is you're trying to do, and if you're a writer downer, this is a writer downer, now is the time. Now is the time. There is no time other than now. The future is just a movie that we're playing inside of our minds. The past is certainly a movie that we're playing inside of our minds. There is no time other than now to get your work done. You are as qualified, you are as competent, you are as ready as you will ever be. I just lost a friend this week. I know you have friends who are gone too, and they're not here to do their work anymore. I'm not trying to get all like super morbid right away, but it's a very real thing. We do not have an unlimited amount of time here on this planet in which to do our work. We do not know how much time we actually have to do our work. So when is the time? The time is now. The other reason that this is the only time, you may find yourself waiting, feeling, oh, this isn't a good time. It's such a busy time at work. My family is in crisis, or people need me, or things are happening. Dude, I get it. I am living with an invisible illness that really limits my energy levels and my ability to be productive. It sucks. I've had it for over 2 years. It's long haul COVID. It's no fun. If you have anybody in your life with long haul COVID, please be nice to them because they're suffering. They may not be talking about it, but they're suffering. My 79-year-old mother has just moved in with me full time. And I have the rest of my family. And I run a 6-figure business. I mean, I got Veronica, who's my team leader, but it's basically me and her running this business. And Lucy on the front lines of the customer service. But it's not like I've got, an office building full of people making this business happen. And it's a mid 6-figure business, y'all. So I get it. You've got health issues. You've got family issues. That's not going anywhere. That's not going to change. There's not going to be some morning where you wake up and go, wow, I've got all the time in the world. And gosh darn it, I feel confident. It's not happening. Stop waiting for that moment. It's not coming. I want you all to just make a note for yourself. This is the time. Whatever it is you are looking to accomplish, but especially if you want to write a book. What's your big why? Please comment. I won't see all of the comments right now, but I'll see some of them. It'll help other people if you share, like, what is it about writing a book that has you going, I would love to share this message with the world. I think it would just be cool to see my book in a bookstore. I had this thought in my head for so long. I just want to get it out. What is it about writing a book that's kind of tapping on your shoulder? So he says, well, for one thing, nearly everyone in my life asks me when my book is coming out. If you're the kind of person that people are always asking, where is your book? Can I buy your book? Do you have a book? When is your book coming out? That's your sign from God. If you've been waiting for like, oh, I need a sign. That's it. That's your sign. That's the whole thing. Rachel says legacy. Yes. Because like I said, we're not going to be here forever. So what can you leave behind? What do you want your children or your grandchildren to say? She was really busy all the time. She took a lot of meetings. No. I want to say, no, she wrote these books to help others, to make a positive difference in the world. Yeah. You are in a position to make a positive difference in the world. How many books have helped you? I've read thousands of books in my life, and I owe those people. It's my job to pay it forward. Those books saved me. Books saved me when I was a little girl. They saved me when I was a teenager. They saved me as a young adult, and they're saving me today. Novels, nonfiction, you name it. Books save lives. People keep saying to me, I want to see your work out there, and that would feel awesome. I've written the book in the books. I just need to get it out. Yes. My book would address the biggest problem in our society today, health and wellness, and a solution, and yes, a legacy to make the world a better place. Yes. My conundrum is that I love writing, but I don't really have an urge to write my own book. I love helping other people write theirs, though. If it's not tapping on the shoulder, give it a pass. That's okay. That's okay. MK says it's a show rather than a book. I'm happiest on the stage, just need the show. That's okay. But just remember, a show can also be a book, and a book is going to reach a lot more people. A show, even if you're doing it in a big theater, how many people are you going to reach? It's a limited run. You're only there for so many performances, but a book lives on. To bring people's hands the self-efficacy to know I am enough, I am okay just as I am, though so busy helping people write their stories on the fly through therapy, trying to figure out what hour of the day I can do this. Thank you so much for saying that. Here's how you can get your book done by September 20th. If you spend 15 minutes a day, every weekday, you can write about 250 words. And then you take one day a week, like Fridays or Saturdays, or Sundays, and spend 90 minutes twice a month, not even every Friday, but just twice a month. You can end up with over 50,000 words. Your mileage may vary, obviously, and you can get not just your book, but your book proposal done in that same amount of time. You may not know what a book proposal is or why it is so important. But I will tell you that without a book proposal, and not just any book proposal, but a kick-ass book proposal, you will not be able to get an agent or a publisher to be traditionally published, nor, even if you're self-publishing, will you be able to successfully self-publish, because the book proposal is the business plan for your book. And writing a book, just like starting a business without a business plan, you're like, I want to start a business selling these. Who are you going to sell it to? Where are you going to sell it? How much are you going to charge? How are you going to reach those people? What are you going to do if they want refunds? Does anything else come with the pen? Is there a subscription? How are you going to make money from this? All of these questions need to be answered. Otherwise, you're just standing on a corner going, pen, Can I offer you a pen? I have a pen. You can buy this pen if you want. That's not a good business plan. And I know too many people who have written books and then gone, oh yeah, I never really thought about who it was for. I never really thought about who would buy it, which is why most books, whether traditionally published or self-published, sell between 200 and 300 copies total lifetime. Y'all, that's heartbreaking. That's a lot of work to sell 200 copies. What? My books have sold over 50,000 copies because I had a really good plan. Okay, somebody's asking, great, what about writing using AI and doing it in 3 days? There's a million ways to get a book. AI can absolutely, they can write you a book this afternoon. You can pay somebody $25,000 and they can write you a book. There's all kinds of ways to write a book, and there's some good strategic reasons for doing it that way. That's not who I'm talking to, though. I'm not talking to people who just want a 200-page business card. There's a lot of people who will do that for you. Oh, we'll take your book from idea to printing. We'll get it in the bookstores. Yeah, that means you're going to follow their cookie cutter structure and you're going to write a cookie cutter book. I don't deal with cookies. I don't work with cookies. You all are not cookies. You're sweet, but you're not cookies. I'm working with people who want to write a good book, who want to write it themselves, who want to make a difference in the world. Thank you for asking that question because it's a really important one, but that's not what we're up to here. Veronica says, ooh, now I want cookies. Yeah, I want cookies too. Ruby says, I want to adapt my show into that book for that exact reason. I can't perform it for everybody. And I want people to have access to the tools and the joy people have felt from my show. Okay, then I get stuck on the, but I don't have an illustrator for another book idea altogether. The more I think out loud, the more I need to come. Do you help with the book proposal too? Yes. How do you decide which book to write if you've got multiple ones floating around in your head? That's exactly what we're going to do. So be sure to sign up for Saturday. Go to therealsambennett.com/your book and get on the list for Saturday. If you can't be there in person, that same link, it's a StreamYard link, so you can get to the replay. As soon as we're done, the replay will be up and ready to go. It's a 12-step thing. I didn't make this up. Your best thinking has brought you to here. The results you are getting right now are the results you are going to be getting. You may have noticed you get kind of the same results over and over again. I certainly noticed that myself. I'm like, oh shit, here I am again. Yeah, because it's you. You need more help than you're getting. You need expert advice from somebody who's been through the process, like your old friend Sam Bennett. And you need to be in a room with other smart people. Smartness is contagious. Productivity is contagious. Positivity is contagious. Feelings are contagious. Right now, there's no one in your life going, yay, yay, write a book. Yay, yay, write a book. You work with me, you're going to have people every single day going, yay, yay, your book matters. Yay, yay, we care about you. And you're going to be able to contribute that to other people as well. So we're going to talk about that for free this Saturday. So be sure to jump in. 15 minutes a day, 250 words a day, times 4, 1,000 words a week. It's 24 weeks between April 5th and September 20th. So that's 24,000 words plus 10 90-minute sessions. Again, just between April 5th and September 20th. That's another 30,000 words. That's 54,000 words. That is longer than than the book that is going to publication June 18th. I'm just saying. You can get it done. And 15 minutes a day, you have 15 minutes a day, 4 days a week. And you have 90 minutes a day, twice a month. I know you do. If you give up Candy Crush, you've got an extra 15 minutes a day. Veronica says, speaking of, a Twitter friend actually self-published a book of like 6 cookie recipes as a fundraiser, instant download. Right, a book can be all kinds of things. There are hidden expenses in you not writing a book. The hidden expenses in you not writing a book are, first of all, the psychic drain of like having a project that you're always thinking about that you're never moving forward on. That's tiring for your brain. That uses up calories and it's hard on your system. It also means that you're not getting the invitations to speak, to coach, to consult, to offer your services for free to people who need it because people don't know you exist because you haven't written a book. While I am an excellent public speaker because I was an actor and I have a lifetime of experience on stage, I have never really pursued speaking gigs particularly, but I have been paid $15,000 to go speak. These people come and find me. Sam, can you come speak? I got one year before. It was a company and they said, hey, we're having our worldwide virtual company-wide event. We just want to have you talk for like 20 minutes and then our CEO really wants to interview for like 25 minutes. We'll buy a book, for anybody in our corporation who wants one, and we'll pay you $5,000. Is that okay? Yes, just this once. I will do it for you. Of course it was okay. Like less than an hour, $5,000, and you're going to buy a copy of my book for everybody. And again, I didn't pursue them. I'd never heard of them before they reached out to me. Y'all, Harvard Extension reached out to me to teach a course. That really didn't pay very much because it was just sort of an honorarium kind of a thing. However, I get to put Harvard Extension, Harvard University Extension on my website as like, yeah, that's right. Harvard thought I was all right. So there are all these opportunities that you are just not getting in front of because they don't know you exist because you don't have a book. The other thing about writing a book is that it really causes you to claim your authority. You are very good at what you do. What you understand about your subject matter, you are what they call an SME, a subject matter expert. And whether your subject matter expertise has to do with how to be a better leader or how to overcome heartbreak and tragedy or how to use your voice to, be a better communicator. Maybe you want to write a fiction book. Maybe you've got a wonderful, sexy escapist novel, or maybe you've got a mystery series, or maybe you've got a dark, creepy thriller. I don't know. You're good at it now. Like you've been at this for a minute. And writing a book forces you to claim your expertise. Are you as good of a writer as you wish you were? Of course not. Of course not. No one is as good of a writer as they wish they were. However, my friend Phil Swan, my friend and often writing partner Phil Swan, has written a series of books that are sort of mysteries set in the 60s Vegas. They're really fun. They're called the Trip Calloway books. Trip Calloway. And he says you can watch him become a better writer from the beginning of the first book to the end of the first book, and then through the second book and the third book and the fourth book. Is he getting better as he writes? Yes. Will you get better as you write? Yes. Are you good enough to start right now? Yes. 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 Yeah, so hop over to therealsambennett.com/your book. It's a free training this Saturday. You'll get the replay instantly. How much would you love to be at Thanksgiving? How you doing? What's up? You're like, oh, well, I wrote a book and a book proposal. And now I have an agent, hair toss, and my book's coming out. I got a contract. So, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. You have a book out, they come to you. It gives you instant authority. This is the part that I did not understand before I wrote a book. When you write a book, it's like you suddenly started wearing a doctor's coat everywhere, or like you're walking around wearing a crown or something that says PhD or something, because all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, you must be an expert. And inside you're like, but that's okay. You don't have to call yourself an expert. They will call you an expert. All of a sudden, people take you more seriously and you can raise your prices, and people want to pay you higher prices because why would they pay somebody who's such a good expert such a little amount of money? It's weird. The other thing that happens when you write a book, and this is what we're doing inside of my business right now, because like I said, I've got my third book is coming out June 13th. It causes you to up-level everything else. And all of a sudden, when you've got a book coming out, you need a new headshot, and you need to upgrade your website, and you need to improve your systems, and you need to up your pricing, and you need to streamline your offerings, and all the things that you keep promising yourself you're going to do anyway. It's like having a live event. Like all of a sudden you've got to create all this stuff that really has a big ripple effect across everything else you do. So all of a sudden that like, oh, I can't really have speaking gigs because I don't really have a speaking reel, and I don't really have a logo, and I don't really have the right outfit. Well, guess what? When you're launching a book, you got to have your reel, and you got to have your outfit, and you got to get your look. Like it just happens. It's a little bit like graduating from high school. You may have been like, oh, I don't know where I want to do to college. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Well, when you're graduating high school, you're sort of forced to answer those questions, and people ask you all the time, and you kind of have to jump over the hurdle whether you feel ready or not. That's what it's like. It's not that you feel any more ready or that you're any better or worse off than you were before, but this opportunity gives you the chance to find a new direction and to set a new course and to be important in your space. Do you want to be famous? Probably not. Most of us don't want to be famous. Luckily, most authors don't become famous. Their books become famous. They don't become famous. So you can still go to the grocery store. No one's going to bother you. I did have somebody stop me on the street one time and ask me if I was me, which was kind of cool, but it was only the one time. But you do get to have a more professional persona. You do get to present something to the world in a bigger, brighter, clearer way. So then you're no longer the best kept secret in town. I was just going to ask you if you wrote a book called Get It Started, and then I remember you did. Yes, the first book is called Get It Done: From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day. It got endorsed by Seth Godin. It just had its 10th anniversary of publication. It's still on bookstores. Barnes & Noble brought the hardcover rights to it. It's available in 3 or 4 countries. The audiobook is still selling really well. The ebook is still selling really well. The hard copy of the book is still selling really well. It's one of the reasons why I was able to get the book deal for my third book, is because that first one is still kicking ass. Ruby says, I like the idea of being able to have this book as a promo for my next show, as well as to be able to get this thing out of my head and legitimize my services as a spiritual cheerleader and feelings coach. Exactly. The getting it out of your head part is epic. We really underestimate how much mental drain it is to have these unrealized ideas. And again, when you've got the book, like it's just this big mother may I giant step forward. She goes on to say, I call myself a joy expert expert and have been asked to be a panelist speaking about cultivating joy in these trying times. So far, just speaking for free engagements, but would love to be paid for it. Well, exactly. If you've got a book, no one's going to ask you to speak for free. Or if they do, then you get to sell the book in the back of the room. I made way more money selling books in the back of the room than I often have just doing straight speaking gigs. And I did this even before my real books came out. I had a book of poetry that I sold, and I sold like $5,000 worth of poetry. That's poetry, people. Believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. So this just came to me, remembering there are versions of books coming out all the time. So for me to wait till it's perfect, I'm just trying to write the first version, remembering it can be always updated if needed. This is why God made editors. You're never responsible for getting your book out all by yourself. That would be silly. Even if you're self-publishing, you're going to hire an editor and you're going to hire a proofreader. And if you get traditionally published, they will hire the editor and the proofreader. And it's great. They go through and they're like, is this what you mean? I just got one recently. I was just finishing the proofreading process and they're like, we just made all these gerunds so that they matched. I'm like, gerunds? I remember gerunds. They're all ing words. Yes, please make them consistently gerunds. There was one story where I changed tense halfway through the story and the proofreader was like, should be this tense all the way through and then change here. I'm like, yes, that makes it better. And here's the thing you guys don't get. The people who work as editors, as proofreaders, as publishers, as agents, they love books. They love books. They love books even more than you and I love books, and I love books. And so to have a group of people who love books, who care about your book, who are investing financially in your book, because that's what happens when you get an advance. They have paid you to write your book, and then they are paying for the cover design and for the editors and the proofreaders and for the PR team. Now, you still have to do most of the PR, by the way. Do not buy into the fallacy that like, oh, if you're traditionally published, you don't have to do any of the marketing. You still have to do almost all of the marketing, but you get help, and you can have help no matter which way you're doing it. So stop thinking you have to do this all by yourself, and stop thinking that you have to know everything before you even start. Sometimes we start writing a book and then find out that it's actually a different book, or we think we've got 2 ideas for a book and it's actually 1 idea. I was just talking to somebody the other day who said to me that he had 3 ideas for a book, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I think that's 1 idea. That's 1 idea. It's a story with 3 braids. He was thinking about it from one market, and I'm like, that's a good market, but it's a very small market. I think if we shift the focus just 1 degree this way, we can open it up to this much bigger market. So I just saved him about 3 years and $30,000. If you were traditionally published, you can probably get at least 5, probably 10, maybe as much as $15,000 for a book advance. And sometimes that's all the money your book will ever make, but not if you do it right. Julie says, as you're talking, I keep hearing the line, this is my letter to the world that never wrote to me. That's right. I want you to do the math on what it's costing you. I mean, again, if you got 1 speaking gig a month, just at the local, Chamber of Commerce, and you sold 10 books at $15 a piece, well, that's $150 a month. So that's well over $1,000 a year. And then maybe someone in that Chamber of Commerce meeting wants to hire you as a consultant or hire you as a coach. Hop over to therealsambennett.com/your book and get yourself registered for this free event on Saturday. We're going to talk a lot more about the nuts and bolts of all this. And if you've got a friend that you think would enjoy this, it's fun to do these things with a friend, and I would love to have your friends there. So please share that URL with them. You can share it on the socials. I know how smart you are. I know how tender-hearted you are. I know how poetical you are. I know how many things you're good at and interested in. And I want you to know that a book is an incredible container for all of that. You may not be writing a book even on your area of expertise. In my latest book, I ended up writing about quite a bit about living with an invisible disease. I hadn't planned on it, but as it turned out, I had to write my book in 15-minute segments because I did not have the energy or physical stamina to write for very much longer than that. I know that there are a lot of the things that I've succeeded at previously in my life, and the reason I succeeded was because I was just a fucking freight train. Like, I was like, nope, we're going to do it. And I got single-minded about it. And I would work morning, noon, and night and dragoon everybody else I knew into it. And we would make that show go up. We would make that event happen. We would make that program go. We would make that retreat happen. I was good at that. I was good at powering through. And then I got sick and I had to figure out another way. There's another way. You don't have to hustle and grind. You just have to stay steady. You don't have to change everything about your life. You just have to change the way you're thinking about your life. The other thing I'll say, and this may sound a little weird, you may not love the book you write. You may feel that it's a little meh, it's not that interesting. Yeah, because you've already mastered it. That's why. So we're writing the book for the people who are 10 steps down behind you. We're not trying to help everybody. We're just trying to help people get from back there to here. Fiction or nonfiction, long or short. You can write a chapter book. You can write a booklet. You can write a slideshow book. You can write a book of photographs, a book of recipes, a book of songs, a book of poetry, a book of sayings. I have a book I want to write called Little Poems, which are 2-word poems. Jacket pocket. It's a little poem. Equitable building. It's a little poem that maybe have to be my next book. So stop leaning on yourself to think that you have to have it perfect. You have to have it all figured out. You have to have all the resources lined up. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You don't, but you do need more support than you're getting. Start on Saturday, therealsambennett.com/your book. That'll take you to a page where you can just click, email, first name, sign up. Great. And if for some reason you can't be there at the appointed time, like I said, we're doing it on StreamYard. So just like this recording will be live the minute I turn off the recording, and you can come back to this link and watch it anytime. The same will be true of Saturdays. But I had a lot to say about this. Veronica says, I love dragoon. I never hear that word. I know it's such a good word, right? Lori says, Sam, you bring tears to my eyes because you talk from your heart as well as your head. Love you to pieces. Oh, Lori, I love you too. And Lori's gotten her book out, and you'll see the incredible results of that. Lori's book helps people know what to do when someone they love passes on, when someone they love dies. It's sort of an essential, that's right, Lori, right? It's like an essential guide. That's super duper valuable. I want you to share your wisdom with the world. I want you to share your heart. It's time that you get out of your own way, quit talking yourself out of it, quit second guessing yourself. And again, even if your book is 1,500 words, think of what a difference that could make. People love short books. You can write a 10,000 word book, boom. Write the book proposal, get it out, sell the shit out of it. You could be making money before September. Doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be complicated, but it will have an incredible ripple effect on you, your family, your business, your community, your legacy. We want to know that you were here. I want to see your book in the bookstore. Heck, I want to see your book at a garage sale, all beaten up because somebody's read it 1,000 times. Wouldn't that be something? It can happen. All right. therealsambennett.com/your book. I'll see you there. Invite a friend. Your friends are the coolest, so please bring a friend. I know you have a friend that you're like, that person should totally write a book. Invite them. Let's do one more breath just to close out this circle. We'll do that 4-7-8 again. You ready? Let's inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for doing this with me.